Hello and welcome to Face to Face. Today we're going to be talking about, and I'm honored to be talking about, a great plant. Our guest is Ted Smith. Ted is founder of the Cannabis Buyers Club of Canada, which has operated here in Victoria for the past 15 years. And just to give you a context, cannabis used to be, at the turn of as we turned from the 19th century into the 20th century, in the early years of the 20th century, probably the biggest commercial crop, one of the biggest commercial crops in the United States and in North America and around the world. And it was used for hundreds and hundreds of different products. So Ted, you're founder of the Cannabis Buyers Club. Maybe you can tell us something about the Buyers Club.
Okay, well, I started up the club 15 years ago after I moved to the island to work with another group called Hempology 101. I began to meet sick people here in Victoria that used cannabis as medicine, and met a lady who made cookies and salves and other products for mostly people with AIDS, was who she worked with. And there was a movement down in California towards what eventually became Proposition 215, which made medical marijuana legal down in California in 1996. And so 15 years ago, right about now, we decided that we were going to start service here in Victoria, providing medicine to people with permanent physical disabilities and diseases. And we require a diagnosis for that. And we've been going on for 15 years now in town.
So you work, a doctor can give a prescription or a letter to someone and...
It's not a prescription. There's confusion around that. And unfortunately, some compassion clubs that are more conservative than us require recommendations or prescriptions, which would mean the doctor would not only be supportive, but very cooperative. Our mandate is really built in not only the best interest of the patient, where we're protecting their constitutional right to use this medicine. So if a person has a permanent physical disability or disease, according to the charter and law, you have a right to determine what medical treatment you use. And so a doctor doesn't have to sign a recommendation or a prescription to join our club. And not only is that good for the patient and protects their rights, but the doctors are not trained in this. Now, the information's available to them, but most choose not to seek it out. And so they're hesitant to recommend or prescribe something that they supposedly know little about. And so our mandate, most physicians like as well, because it doesn't require them to recommend it. They confirm that a person has arthritis or diabetes, irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, fibromyalgia. There's a long list of sort of chronic pain issues that our club helps. But we don't require actual recommendation from a doctor, just a diagnosis, and then we help the patient. And
I think the main help that cannabis gives is relief from pain. Is that correct?
Well, one of the primary reasons people use it for medical problems is pain, to be sure. It's very good for that. One of the more underestimated benefits is the anti-inflammatory benefits. And when it's smoked, the anti-inflammatory benefits aren't as long-lasting as when it's eaten or applied on the skin. The antibiotic benefits as well, antioxidant benefits. There's a lot of things that are happening when you consume cannabis. Most of them you're not even aware of. You're aware that it sort of numbs the pain, or if you're not in pain, it makes you feel what we call high. But it also is relaxing your muscles. So say if you've been in a car accident and your knee has got tissue built up around it and it's swollen and it's injured. Well, cannabis will not only relieve the inflammation and relax the muscles and kill the pain at the location of the injury, but then it will also help numb the sensation of pain in your brain as well. And I don't have time to get into the endocannabinoid system, but there's more science coming out all the time about the benefits of this plant. And in particular, when it's eaten and smoked, or as opposed to smoked, the benefits are much more dramatic and long-lasting.
So what are some of the products that the Cannabis Buyers Club of Canada makes and sells?
Well, certainly we have herbs. We have different kinds. Every strain of cannabis is different. They have different chemical makeups and different oils as well. So we have what we call indicas, which are much more of a muscle relaxant strain available, as well as what we call sativas, which give people this sort of headstone effect and pain-killing effect without relaxing them so much they can't get off the couch. We also have hash available, different grades of hashish. But for me, the real pride and joy of our club is the food and skin products that we make and sell.
The food and
skin products.
Skin, also like
we have
ointments.
we have, I think, 12 or 13 massage oils, salves. We even have a lip balm. And when you apply it to the local area that it's injured, you don't, in some sense, saturate the rest of your body with muscle relaxants and painkillers and anti-inflammatories. It doesn't need it. But if you do eat it and apply it on the skin, you're effectively attacking it from both angles, the inside and the outside. And so, yeah, we have a number of different food and skin products that are very unique to our club. None of our products are made with alcohol. We make them all with like butter and vegetable oils and things that most people would have readily available in their kitchens. It's really important for us that people have access to these at the lowest cost possible. So most of our products are sold pretty much at cost. But we're also really proud to show people how to make their own medicines. The real benefit of this plant is that people can very easily, with some seeds and water, grow something that can benefit them much more than any other plant or drug or recreational product as well. But certainly people need to make their own medicines. That's why the drug companies are so threatened by this plant, because it works with such a broad range of conditions and is so easy to produce. And so we've not only gone out of our way to explore all the different nuances of making good medicine, but we want to teach people how to make this medicine as much as possible, how to use this plant to its highest utility. So we're making this video here to show people how to make butter or vegetable oil extracts and show them some of the products that we've made with that. We also have our product guide online with all of our ingredients listed out with the exact instructions on how to decarboxylize it, which is one of the sort of stages that we put the plant through to make it the most useful possible. We've been in laboratory with Dr. Paul Hornby studying and working diligently for 15 years to make the best possible medicines. And we're very proud to make this video to complement the online product guide, and really would encourage people to experiment and learn how to use this plant in all of its various ways.
And if you keep watching for the next little while, you're going to see some examples of exactly how to make some of the products that you guys distribute. Is that correct?
That's correct. So the video you're about to see is my partner, Gayle Quin, making the products for the Cannabis Buyers Club. Hello, my name is Ted Smith, and this is where we operate the Cannabis Buyers Club of Canada in downtown Victoria. So we've had this facility now for 9.5 years. And as you can see, it's got more of a fraternity feeling than it does a store or clinic. We're very proud of the work we've done here. I started this club in a van almost 15 years ago and got a pager and a pamphlet and started helping sick people that I met along the way. And now we have about 3,300 members that use the services here. Now you're looking at a bunch of art on the wall that is being donated for our annual silent art auction on November the 15th. The highlight of this year's silent art auction, again concluding on November 15th, is Puff the Magic Drag Queen, a paper mache piece of art donated by one of our members, Denise Duncan. So I'll take you into what we call the distribution room. The medicine isn't out right now, but you'll get a sense of the space at the very least. So normally the cabinet here would have different sample jars, but anyone interested in the movement will have seen plenty of cannabis, and we're not really here to have a show and tell in that sense. We are going to show you our food and skin products, but this is where the action is. We also have a wall of posters. I operate two groups. One is the Cannabis Buyers Club of Canada, the other is Hempology 101. So Hempology has probably organized by now about 2,100 different rallies or meetings or lectures or other events. Okay, so in here we have my office where I'm often hiding or working on the computer more often than not these days, but this is a lot of my work is done. It's pretty crowded, so you won't get to see everything here, but I need to introduce you to Herb. So this is Herb, our mascot, who came to life a couple of years ago to join our team, and as you can see, he's built like a backpack. Herb is fast becoming the most popular mascot in Victoria. We take him out to all sorts of events around the town, and in some sense even for the cannabis movement, I would like to think.
Hi, my name's Gayle. Very proud to say that I've been a member of the Cannabis Buyers Club of Canada since 2003. And since 2005, I've had the great privilege of helping develop new products. We're very proud about the alternative products that we make. We make 29 edible and skin products, as opposed to just using cannabis as a smokable herb. There's literally every part of the plant can be used. Today we're making butter, and that's the basic ingredient that we make the cookies out of. We start with a raw herb, and we just use leaf. You can use all different grades. This is trim from buds, so this would make extra strength cookies. I'll get into the different effects of the leaf and the bud a little bit later. We've already taken our leaf, and we've clarified some butter, which has separated the milk solids out of the butter. Skimmed it. It makes a white foam that comes to the top, and we skim it off, and we've mixed our leaf into it. First of all, we decarboxylized our leaf. You bake it for half an hour at 300 degrees, and what that does is it takes the two inactive THC molecules and converts it into active THC. So it basically increases the potency of the cannabis and also makes it available to our body to be able to use. If you just pick a raw bud off of the plant and eat it, it'll take an awful lot to get any psychoactive effects from it, although you would get other health benefits from it. And we're going to strain it through a piece of cheesecloth. If we took this butter with all the, and I'll show you, with all this leaf in it, let's see, can you see? And just cook that into cookies, we wouldn't be manufacturing a drug. We would just be making cookies out of an illegal substance. But if you take this, it also makes it very hard to digest, especially for people with any kind of compromise digestive systems. So we like to take our cheesecloth and we strain the oil through it. First of all, we put liquid lecithin in the bottom of the pot. This is so it can start melting right away with the heat of the oil. It's been cooking for about 6 hours in a double boiler to extract the active ingredients into the oil. The lecithin we add, it's a super nerve nutrient. It's what all of our nerve sheaths are made out of, so it's extremely important for anybody with any form of nerve disorders or damage. It also is an emulsifier, and it increases the absorbency rate of the cannabis in the oil from your digestive tract from anywhere from 15 to 25%. So we put the cheesecloth in a little strainer. This is just to reduce the amount of wastage of the cheesecloth. Then we take a colander. It's very important to me as we produce the recipes. Most people already have all of the necessary equipment at home in their kitchen. You don't have to run out and buy any special equipment. Wooden soup spoon. We use this one just for making our butter, though. We don't use them for cooking, because we make butter about every other day. We have 3,300 active members, and through a lot of talking, Ted and I have encouraged a lot of them to try the baked goods, and within a couple of days, it's amazing the responses that you come back with. It's truly an amazing medicine when you start to ingest it and apply it to your skin. Your body can really put it to use and start healing then. So it takes a little bit of talking to get it all in there, because we make quite a large batch. We use 3 liters of olive oil, or in this case with the butter we've used 7 pounds of butter, and that'll get us through about 1 day of making cookies. So it's straining through the colander and then getting a little bit of a finer strain to get just the last little bits of grit and little bits of leaf out through the cheesecloth. So it's really doing nothing but removing a whole lot of fiber. It usually takes a bit of, the butter is sticky, so it takes quite a bit of talking into for the leaf to let all of the butter go. You can use a wine press if you have one, or like an apple juice press, something like that. The thing to remember with using something like that, or with anything, is to give it lots of time. And then we save this after it's finished being squished out too, and make what we call a canna patch out of it. I'll show them to you in a little bit. And about now, I like to start stirring in the lecithin, because it really takes quite a bit of stirring for it to dissolve in there properly. The sooner you can stir it whilst it's hot, the better. If you don't have a press, you can use a large blunt object that's been washed. It gets washed with the dishes every day and has a container we keep it into, so it's clean as all of the rest of the equipment that we're using. And just use this to help press it out, because the butter is very sticky. It's an animal fat. Okay. Okay, this is a rhinol capsule. This is the leaf suspended in grapeseed oil. You can choose whatever kind of oil is best suited to your own body, but we use grapeseed oil because it has a lot of benefits for your digestive system. When we make our edible products, we try to use 3 different types of leaf or bud. And the reason that we do this is each plant has between 6 to 12 different active chemicals in it. And so if you increase the amount of the number of plants that you've used, you're going to increase the amount of active chemicals that you end up with in your end product. Now we separate our products into two main types, those made with leaf and those made with bud, and I'm going to start with those made with leaf. This is a very minute dose. You'd have to be in an extremely compromised situation to be able to get psychoactive effects from one of these. We're aiming for therapeutic value with all of our edible and our skin products. We're not looking to get people high. We're making medicine and helping people get well. Every day we get feedback with how amazing people are feeling from trying one of our edible products or taking home some oil and rubbing it on their sore knee at night. So the leaf is a very good muscle relaxant. It has some pain-killing qualities, a little bit of antiseptic qualities, but as a smooth muscle relaxant, it's extremely good for any type of digestive troubles. It's also an antispasmodic, so it's very good for people with things like MS or other kinds of neurological diseases and things like glaucoma. When you ingest cannabis, it does a few things differently than when you smoke it. When you smoke it, it gets heated very rapidly and it gets converted. But because of the high heat, they also break down quickly. And they go into your bloodstream quickly, but they also break down in your bloodstream quickly. When you ingest cannabis, you can feel that most people can feel the effects for at least 8 hours. And I've had reports of people feeling the effects of one of our cookies for up to 2 days. So if that happens, though, I strongly recommend that people cut their cookie into bits and eat it regularly throughout the day. Like for a starting dose, I would recommend either 2 or 3 of these rhinol capsules spread throughout the day. It keeps a consistent supply of the active chemicals in your bloodstream, and especially when you're dealing with chronic pain, it keeps your pain levels from getting out of control. It helps keep them at a more consistent level, and most people find that it takes a lot less of smoking the herb to control their pain levels or their nausea or whatnot, and then they have to smoke less, which is a great concern with most of our members. And the effects of the smoking also last a lot longer because the active chemicals aren't breaking down in your bloodstream as often. So for people with muscular problems and glaucomas, it's really important to keep your cannabinoid levels at a constant rate with as little fluctuation as possible. Things like chronic migraine headaches and whatnot, seems to help keep them from blowing out of control. The next product is called a Buddha ball. It's a raw food protein supplement. Ted designed it, and it's one of our best selling edible products. There's enough protein for most people to fulfill their requirements for the daily requirements. It's got raw sunflower seeds, coconut, hemp protein powder, soy and whey protein powder, a little bit of honey to keep it together. You can have them hemp hearts as well, and they're plain in chocolate chip and rolled in almond powder to keep the oil from coming out of them. Next thing I want to show you are the cookies, and these are what we've made with the butter. We make them all with the best ingredients that we can find. We use stone ground, 60% whole wheat and 40% unbleached white flour. Raw sugar, farm fresh eggs that are grown just for us. It's wonderful from very happy chickens. The cannabis and clarified butter and the lecithin. And there's plain chocolate chip, double chocolate. There's oatmeal, peanut butter, and peanut butter with chocolate chip. So we make a wide variety. So a lot of people, it's the main source of their food a day when you're very, very nauseous. It's nice to be able to eat something that you know you're actually going to get some nutrition as well as some pain killing benefits and a very good sleep at the same time. It's funny when people are first trying our cookies, they'll say, I didn't feel anything. And I'll say, yeah, but how did you sleep? And they'll say, well, actually, I've had the best sleep I've had in years. And that's because, like I said before, we're aiming at a therapeutic dose. Another product that we have, this is, I'll actually show you. This is sort of two products in one. Like I said, you can use all of the leaves, so we separate different grades of the leaf, and the lesser quality of leaf we use for massage oils and dog biscuits. Dogs react very, very well to cannabis. They don't have their brains to get in their way, so their bodies just use it. I've had vets document tumors disappearing, arthritis being reversed, in dogs, chronic coughs going away. They're just amazing. They help dogs with cancer. I kept cancer in remission of my Rottweiler for 13 and a half years by feeding him a raw apple and cannabis every day. So they're made of barley flour, chana flour, or chickpea flour and oat flour, and there's no sugar in them, so they're wheat-free. And they have flaxseed water to hold them together, and it's olive oil infused cannabis to make them. And a couple of our members said, Gayle, these aren't strong enough. How come? And they said, well, it's because they're dog biscuits. And they said, well, they're wheat-free and sugar-free, and we like them and we want them too. So we've had to make them out of the regular olive oil that we use for the Buddha balls. And we dip them in 3 kinds of chocolate and call them bisque buddies because they're quite similar to a biscotti biscuit. This is the Kamut square that I was talking about when we were infusing the oil. This is made out of the stock oil, and we fill up a jar of all the stock that we trim, and when the jar is full, we fill it up with olive oil and leave it in the windowsill for a month. And at the end of that, we turn it into these, and it's very effective medicine. People like it quite a lot, and the heating of the marshmallows seems to be enough to decarboxylize it, enough to get enough active ingredients, because this is the only edible product that we don't actively decarboxylate first. But cannabis can be made into tea as well, and the THC isn't water soluble, but the other there's other cannabinoids like the CBNs and the CBDs that are, and they're anti-carcinogenic, and they also have smooth muscle relaxing properties and pain killing qualities. So you can make medicine that has no psychoactive effects from cannabis as well. And we make a tea, Ted was showing you the herbal teas earlier. We make a tea with cannabis and skullcap and chamomile in it. So I'd like to move on to the products that are made with bud. The bud contains the crystal that has the THC in it. And THC is quite different than the leaf. It has more active pain-killing qualities, but it doesn't have the muscle relaxing qualities that turn you into a couch potato if you eat too much. It also is a very strong antibiotic. These are called our extra strength cookies. They just look little. These you will feel psychoactive effects from. I ask people not to ride their bicycles or drive or operate heavy machinery after ingesting these. You should wait until you get home. They're made out of fresh ground oat flour. They have flaxseed water to hold them together, and buds suspended in olive oil and a little tiny bit of raw and refined sugar. So we keep them, like I say, all of our recipes are made as simply as possible and with ingredients that are easy to find. If your local grocery store doesn't have them, a health food store most certainly will. And the next product that I have that I'm extremely proud of because they're just amazing. The more people tell me about them, the more I'm amazed. They're called a Cannabis, and they're slippery elm bark and Chinese wolfberries ground up with bud infused into olive oil. Again, the flaxseed water to hold them together. Besides all the properties of cannabis, cannabis mixes really well with other herbs, and when you mix some herbs together, they work synergistically, which means they work even better than if you use them by themselves. And cannabis seems to, no matter what you mix it with, it seems, I haven't found anything yet that it hasn't mixed well with, and it increases the potency of the other herbs that it's being mixed with. So slippery elm bark is specific for your digestive system and your respiratory system. And Chinese wolfberries are amazing. They're a blood regulator, so they help regulate your blood pressure as well as your blood sugar. We've had members get off of their blood pressure medication using these regularly, cutting them up into thirds and using them, like I said earlier, 3 times throughout the day. It's all a matter of experimentation. The more actively your body is using cannabis, I find the less psychoactive effects you're going to get. Like if I'm just using a lozenge for normal pain management to get through the day, if I eat 2 or 3 of them, I'm going to be able to feel the psychoactive effects off of it. But if I'm actively fighting a throat infection or a cold or an abscessed tooth, I could eat 7 of them in a night and kill the infection and not feel any psychoactive effects from them at all. I've had many members come back, and dentists as well, that have seen abscessed teeth, and I fed these to members and they've gone back the next day and the abscess has been gone. Dentists are amazed with them. Like I say, they'll kill strep throats, lung infections. We've had bowel surgery canceled from the use of these. It took a year of eating them, but it cleared an obstruction of the bowels to the point where surgery was canceled. Another wonderful thing with these is you can just pop them into your mouth and let them absorb in through the side of your mouth, so they don't have to go through your digestive system at all. We can use them homeopathically. They can stay there for quite a few hours if you're careful with it, and that's the best way to use it if you're fighting something like an ear infection or an abscessed tooth. You just leave it right there, because you're putting a painkiller and an antiseptic and an antibiotic right on the site. In fact, if it's a styptic as well, so if you have a cut, say, that won't quit bleeding, you can take a little bud and squish it and put it on your cut, and it'll start killing the pain right away, and it'll stop the bleeding, and it's a perfect Band-Aid because it's antiseptic and antibiotic already. I just put another Band-Aid on top of it. So these the lozenges are very good for types of pain like back injuries and like broken bones, because it's a very good painkiller without, like I said, and still being able to remain functioning. Like, it doesn't knock you out like the leaf does or turn you into like they call a couch potato sometimes. The other thing we have that's made of bud is 2.5 grams of bud suspended in olive oil. It's all ready to be used, so it's very good for people with extreme digestive disorders and dietary needs, because it's ready to use and you can put it on whatever kind of food that you can tolerate, or you can just put it in a spoon and eat it. Like it goes great on applesauce or your porridge or for salad dressing. It's also very transportable if you have to go out for supper and still have to have your medicine with you. So it's very convenient and easy to use. So from there I'd like to go to the topicals, because we make a variety of massage oils as well. This is regular massage oil. It's leaf suspended in olive oil, and olive oil has quite a number of health benefits in itself, especially if you as well as applying it to your skin, as well as eating it. So the reason massage oils work so well is because we have endocannabinoids throughout our whole body, the same as we have pain receptors everywhere. So if we hurt our elbow, instead of eating an aspirin or something that has to go through our whole body to get to the elbow, you can take a bit of massage oil, and it only takes a couple of drops. It's amazing how far it goes. And put it right on your elbow, which helps it to stop hurting within minutes. Now again, with the massage oil, I had help from my pharmacist, and I asked him what's the best herb for arthritis, and he goes arnica. And I said, I thought so. And he goes, you just set me up, didn't you? And I said, yes, I did, because I want to mix it with my cannabis massage oil. Do you know of any reason why I shouldn't? And he said, that sounds like a very good idea. To date, I know of 3 arthritic surgeries that have been canceled from the regular use of the arnica and the cannabis massage oil. So arnica is a specific for arthritis. It helps with intercellular fluid exchange, so it reduces swelling. It's also a painkiller. So cannabis being a painkiller as well, they work very well together. We also make a St. John's wort oil. It's really good for ear infections. It helps stop bruising. It kills the pain of bruising, and it helps your body to reabsorb the bruise safely. We make a comfrey massage oil, which helps increase circulation, so it's great for things if you have gout or congestive heart failure, varicose veins. Also any kind of liver disorders, because they help weaken your venous system. So with regular use of St. John's wort that helps strengthen your veins. We also make a wild yam, which is specific for multiple sclerosis and women's hormone replacement therapies. It's also good for gallbladder disorders and a few other things. We have a product guide that lists everything that we make. I'm in the process of relating it to the digest, because there's special articles in the digest that explain the products more. I could write a little book about them by now, I think. And then we take the massage oils. Some people don't like them, and they're hard to transport sometimes. And we mix them with beeswax and make a salve. So the regular salve is just like for any regular first aid ointment. It's good for anything, like from eczemas to bug bites, shingles, herpes outbreaks, psoriasis, just about anything that can go wrong with your skin. It's very transportable and easy to use. Usually if people find the massage oil too oily, they're using too much. It really only takes a couple of drops to go a long way. So we make the regular. We also make the arnica, which is just the arnica with beeswax in it again. We make a specific for this skin that's got shea butter in it. It's a natural sunscreen. It's got lavender oil in it as well, and vitamin E in it, so you can use it for a sun tanning lotion and for sunscreen as well as for sunburns. It was developed for one of our members who had a reaction to her chemotherapy and had got blisters burnt all over her skin, and her doctors weren't sure what to do. They told her she was going to have to get skin grafts. So I developed the shea butter for her almost overnight, and she had 3 little tiny scars and no skin grafts at all. Her cancer specialists were just amazed with the results, as were we all. Oh, the arnica is also very helpful with lupus, we found. The more feedback I get, the more we keep finding out that everything is helping with. It's really amazing. And then the last topical that we make is we make a lip balm as well. And it's got shea butter again in it for the beeswax and just the regular massage oil. So the last product that I want to show you is after we finish squeezing all of the oil, or straining all of the oil before we make all of these products, the leaf never wants to let go of all of the oil. So we take it and we wrap it in cheesecloth, tape it up with surgical tape. There's a little piece of like food grade wax paper inside of it to keep the oil leaking through the other side. You can keep them in the freezer and reuse them over and over again so long as it's not on an open infection or blood. I would make them smaller and still use them on an infection, but throw them away right away as soon as you've used them once. You just take them out of the bag and apply it to your skin. I've taped them up and turned them into casts and timed them. They've stopped helping to reduce pain within 4 minutes. And I broke my wrist, and within 4 hours I was out of pain, and it was healed in 3 weeks. They're amazing for stopping bruising. If you get them on right away, if you bonk your eye, you just put them on your eye. They'll help stop migraine headaches. Just put them on the back of your neck like this and leave them there. You can tuck them onto the inside of your shirt if you have a sore shoulder. Just use a normal elastic tape. If you bonk your knee, tape them onto your knee. It's where everybody should have at least 2 or 3 of these in the freezer at home for emergencies. Nurses in the emergency wards have been astounded at how they can close wounds together. They've seen wounds that should have been stitched, but they were in such delicate places like your eyes that you wouldn't want to be stitched, and within 3 days they were healed with no scars or bruising or anything. They're just amazing. So the more feedback we get, the more products that we come up with, but right at this point we seem to have a pretty good coverage of what most of our members need. I'd like to thank you for your time.
Okay, we're back and we're talking to Ted Smith, founder of the Cannabis Buyers Club of Canada here in Victoria. And Ted, you guys have a bakery that produces a lot of the products that we've just seen, and no doubt many more. And your bakery was raided last year, so maybe you can tell us a little bit about that entire incident and what it means.
Okay, well, we've had an apartment to make the products for the Cannabis Buyers Club for the full 15 years, but a few years ago we rented a separate facility, just an apartment downtown, to work full-time. And unfortunately, due to noise complaints, and apparently someone else was cooking like isopropanol, making like hash oil on the same floor, and the police came knocking at the door. And unfortunately, the baker at the time, Owen Smith, ended up being charged with possession for the purpose of trafficking in cannabis and possession for the purpose of trafficking in THC. Now, we had very little cannabis in the smoke firm on him, and we're quite sure we'll beat those charges quite easily. However, PPT for the THC, the tetrahydrocannabinol, the most active agent in the plant, is a very unusual charge in the courts. And I've actually been convicted of trafficking THC for giving cookies away. November 15th is International Medical Marijuana Day, and I've had an annual cookie giveaway for a long time on that day. And so Health Canada has a legal mechanism for people to use cannabis. The medical marijuana access regulations came into effect 9 years ago. People can grow their own cannabis. They can buy it from the government. They can get a designated grower for them. They can use that cannabis in its smoked form. Apparently, they can cook it into a butter. If they extract it with a cheesecloth, that is, if they separate the leaf material from the vegetable oil or the butter, they've actually technically produced a drug, because you've separated the plant material from the active ingredients. And that's illegal.
Now, everything that you've said is legal for those who have a medical condition.
With the Health Canada license.
The rest of us can't do any of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is specifically with people that have gotten Health Canada's forms, filled them out with their doctor, sent it in to Ottawa, got their card back that allows them to grow or possess certain amounts of cannabis.
Okay.
They can smoke it in anywhere that a person that smokes tobacco can smoke, and possess it. They can walk through airports with pounds of it. But if they make it into a cookie, they've produced a drug.
If they make it into a cookie, or make it into a cookie in a special way?
Well, I should say if they've extracted the leaf.
And I don't know what that means, extracted the leaf.
Well, you can see in the video where we take the leaf after it's been soaked in butter and put it into a sieve and press the butter out of the leaf material.
Okay, so
and we use a cheesecloth.
The butter from the leaf.
Yeah.
And what is now the bad thing? Is it the butter?
The butter.
Okay, so that is illegal.
The butter contains THC, which is a separately listed drug under the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act.
Okay, so you
Cannabis
can go
resin
so far.
is as well. If someone was to make hash, they would have produced a drug, even though the plant material that they made it from was totally legal. If they've simply put their pot, when it's dried, on top of a screen and shake the screen and produce hash below, that's actually a drug. And so the only, in my estimation, reason for these laws to be written as such is to protect pharmaceutical companies. Because you can buy synthetic THC. They've been selling that for decades. It's been proven that that product, synthetic THC, is not comparable to the whole plant medicine. The whole plant not only contains THC, but other cannabinoids, other terpenes and flavonoids, essentially the essential oils, that combined have a synergistic benefit that THC by itself does not have.
Where can you buy synthetic THC?
It's called Marinol, Sesamat. Actually, Marinol, I think, is what it's sold in the States. Here, it's called Sesamat. Dronabinol is another name for it. You can't buy it, you get it prescribed.
Okay.
But synthetic THC
is okay.
But
real THC,
legally available. Okay. But yeah, and the reason that the plant was made legal was because it has all these active ingredients in it, all these other cannabinoids, these essential oils. And so we think that this trial, and it will be a 20-day jury trial that we're looking at here, is one that we will convince the judge to not only throw the charges out in this case, but to force the government to open up the MMAR to allow people to make their own food and skin products. Because in essence, Health Canada, on one hand, will claim that smoking is bad for you, but on the other hand, they've made it illegal for people to make their own food and skin products. No.
Oh, so you can't make the food and skin products without doing something illegal?
Yeah.
So what they're saying then is your entire bakery and what people have seen in the video is illegal.
More illegal than the raw bud itself.
Okay.
Yeah. The penalties are heavier for possessing and selling these, separately listed drugs as well. And they're healthier to consume.
When is the trial?
So the trial itself is probably a year away. The preliminary inquiry is May 19th and 20th of 2011. So we're preparing right now. We're not only working with some of the members of the club who will testify, and everyone who would testify has already been told they would be dead by now. And apparently, according to their stories, if it weren't for this plant, and in some cases our club in particular, they wouldn't be walking on this planet anymore. I've kind of had to promise them that I'll keep them all alive for another year at least so they can testify. But, you know, there's 6, I think, we've lined up, and I think 3 of them are cancer survivors, but, you know, certainly, you know, cannabis helps for others as well. But we're going to not only have members of our club, but we'll have some scientists up on the stand as well. In many cases, we'll actually be using Health Canada's own researchers to prove our point.
Sounds like a great trial.
It's going to be. We're actually quite looking forward to it. It's an opportunity for us to explain, you know, what we're doing and why, and showcase our work against that of the government, because as far as we're concerned, Health Canada has been beyond negligent in these circumstances in dealing with medical marijuana. At this point, there's 5,000 people with licenses in the entire country. According to their own statistics, there's 1 million Canadians that have got chronic pain issues that could or should be using cannabis. So they're only helping now half a percentage of the people, half of 1%, that could actually and should be using this plant. And
I'd just like to say that I heard from a source completely independent from you or the club, people who were in very, very serious pain, and say that marijuana did the trick for them. So it works. There's no question that it works.
I don't know if I mentioned the Buyers Club that I operate now. I started in a van with a pager and a pamphlet. I now have 3,400 sick people in my care. We've probably helped between 800 to 1,000 get off prescription drugs entirely. I'm not sure about that exact statistic. But I know dozens of people that would be dead without our help right now, and thousands that have achieved a quality of life that wasn't possible before.
And how do people, is there a website?
Hempology.ca has the links to most of the things we're doing.
Hempology.ca. You've been watching Face to Face. Thank you very much.